yesterday. I apologize.
Hey, Judge, you're good.
Okay, very good. All right. Welcome, everyone. I am Judge Yolanda Huff. I preside over County Court 12 in the Mental Health Court. The Barrett County Special Courts Coalition, we're hosting a series of seminars to really just educate the community in the courthouse on what these special courts do at the courthouse. There are now 14, and I think they're great. I started as a defense attorney under Judge Ernie Glenn in the felony drug court. So I knew after taking the bench and the mental health court was in County Court 12 that I wanted to continue, because I just think these special courts do just great work for the community. And my job going forward was just to educate the community, because I found that so many people just did not know or unaware or just confused about everything. And so I think it's a good thing that we're presenting this to the community. So I'm going to let Representative Gervin Hawkins introduce herself and say a few words to the watchers. Thank you. Barbara Gervin Hawkins.
Thank you, Judge Huff. Again, my name is Barbara Gervin Hawkins. I'm state representative of District 120, which mainly covers the core east side and northeast. So if you look at my footprint, I call it 37 on the western boundary, going far east up to 35 in Tupperwine. But one of the things as a legislator I've always wanted to do was to engage the community at a higher level, because I'm a big believer that knowledge is power. And so when Judge Huff have introduced me to the specialty courts, along with some of the other judges that I've known for years, I thought it was just an awesome opportunity for our community really to be able to take on a different path. I call specialty courts fix-it courts, because, traditionally when people go before a judge, it's always appear to be either a punitive or some type of negative perception. So with the onboarding and the growth of the specialty courts, what I'm hearing and seeing is that people are embracing it more and understanding that courts are not just a negative situation, but somewhere where they can get introduced to resources and get a second chance. And so I had a great opportunity to attend the drug court graduation. And I'll tell you, it was just awesome to hear the testimonies, to see the stories. And what that does for me as a legislator is understand that indeed our courts can help the greater society by implementing programs. And I know some people think social programs are negative, but I'm a big believer that programs are imperative to our community. We have a lot of broken people, as many of you know and have seen. And that brokenness comes from many different factors, be it poverty, be it environments where people are raised. And so when we look at specialty courts, from my perspective, we're looking at another opportunity to be able to create situations that people can improve their life. And if they improve their life and the lives of their children, we're talking about creating a better and a more robust society. So I'm excited about what the specialty courts have to offer and the continued growth and embracing. But I also know it's difficult. Change is hard. And so in looking at what we need to do as a community and working together, our court system, along with our law enforcement, along with our elective, when I say elective, I'm specifically talking about our executive branch at the State House, how we can work together to craft legislation that can help you even more. So what I'd like to see, Judge, moving forward is that we work together on a legislative agenda in terms of how can we as legislators be more impactful and give you those tools that all of you need to make sure that what you do in your specialty courts has additional supports. So I'm excited about this morning. I'll be able to stay on a while. and listen and hear and learn. So our next legislative session, as we sit down and we work together to make sure that our kids, our families get the best opportunity they can. And in closing, what I like to say is this: our society needs us. They depend on us. We, as educated individuals and as professionals, have to be that bridge to bring people together to improve their quality of life. It's disappointing in some cases where we as legislators are handcuffed on what we can do. But beyond the status quo, I want y'all to know this. In looking at legislation, one of our deans, Sophronia Thompson, who's been in the legislature 50 years, passed substantial pieces of legislation that has not moved. That's very disappointing. I put forth 4 pieces of legislation dealing with improving policing accountability. That has not moved. And when I say have not moved through the legislative process. Those are the disappointing parts. But I'm also an optimist, and I want to make sure that even though we may have roadblocks at the legislative arena, I want you to know through our courts, you have immense support from your legislators, and anything that we can do, we want to be able to provide for you. And Yolanda, if you don't mind, I'd like to answer a couple questions if anybody have any.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Judge Ron Rangel. He's our moderator for today. Take it away, Judge Rangel.
Thank you, Judge Huff. And if I can my name is Ron Rangel. I'll just throw in a word or two. We know in the justice system that folks that get caught up in the system are not necessarily bad people. I mean, if you look at the penal code today, you can see that most of those crimes are crimes that we say are crimes, not necessarily crimes that represent somebody's heart. And so a few years back, somebody caught up in the cycle would not have had the opportunity to go through these types of programs. So I feel very blessed. I feel fortunate to be here today and to be able to be a part of this. And so I want to make sure that Representative, she gets the opportunity to have folks ask. Is that where we're going now, Judge Huff?
I think that she said she would answer a few questions if anyone had
Okay.
any of her.
All right. If anybody has any questions of the good representative, good friend Barbara Gervin Hawkins, you're welcome to ask now. We'll give it a few seconds.
Okay.
All right. Representative, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I'd just like to say again, thank you. I'll be here on a while listening and learning. But again, let's make our relationship closer so that those things that you need legislatively, that we can definitely advocate for. Thank you.
And, I do have to say that from the very beginning, Representative, you've been very open to the judiciary and very, very deferential, and that's very appreciative. We're very fortunate to have you in that position, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Hawkins.
And I understand that Gilbert Gonzalez from the Department of Behavioral Mental Health is going to provide a few words as well. Mr. Gonzalez.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you so much for being here, Representative Gervin Hawkins. Thank you for your leadership and especially your presence right now in a very turbulent time. These are the worst of times. These are the best of times. When I started out in psychology, I used to have a black beard. Now my beard is white, and it's been over 40 years. I wanted to tell you all that your time this morning is going to be very, very well spent. There, as a Department of Behavioral Health, I'm the director there, and we have an incredible team. And that team gets a series of questions. One of the most frequent questions we get is the phone call that says, for the first time, my wife, my daughter, my son, my brother, my uncle is doing this, he has a mental illness. What do I do? We don't know. And we generally respond by saying 3 things. Number 1, please be aware that you need to reach out call somebody, call a crisis line, or find, get a hold of somebody by phone, by a cell phone. If you don't have a cell phone, go to the old-fashioned phone lines. So reach out and touch them. The second thing we tell them is that understand that that the mental health, the behavioral health system is just that. It is a system. And so one of the things that you have to do is you have to learn the system. Today is going to be an incredible opportunity for that to happen, for you to pick up something maybe you didn't know. And then the last thing we say is that, when you first encounter this, you have to understand that behavioral health and the treatment of this medical disorder is going to take a marathon. It may be a long time. So be patient with yourself. Be good to yourself. One of the things that you'll hear today in summary will be very valuable information. You'll hear about help that's available. You'll hear about the solutions that you're going to be presented. And in short, the message will be, there is hope. So I want to thank you all again for being here. Judge Rangel, Judge Huff, Representative, thank you for your presence, and the other judges, and most importantly, our participants today. Thank you.
And let me kind of throw this in real quick too as well, Mr. Gonzalez. I'll call you Gilbert. We'll make it informal today. Your position was actually created, right? Your position did not exist before you came on board. And that says something about, yes.
I'm glad you said that, Judge. I don't know if y'all are aware, but Bexar County, because of the Commissioner's Court, and I'm sure, our judges are so shy, they never say what's on their mind, that what has happened is that Bexar County is the only county in Texas that has a county-based behavioral health department. Michelle, Azalea, and so many of the team that are here today. Our jobs is to address behavioral health issues every single day and raise up the needs of citizens that we serve. So thank you, Judge. And I have to say, I have never seen so much progress with Judge Run's leadership, Judge Huff, all of y'all. It's just a wonderful time to make progress. And I'm so glad that you're here to hear of all the incredible things that are happening in the judicial system. Thank you.
All right. So at this time, are we going to have anybody who's here as a guest take an opportunity to say a few words?
I don't see any other.
Hi, good morning. My name is Cindy Robles, and I'm actually a guest. I'm a family member, and I'm here to definitely learn more about just what we can do. I do have a brother that suffers from mental illness, and it seems it's just I mean, I can go on and on. I would take all of your time today, but I definitely want to learn more about, just some additional supports for our family and himself. And so thank you for the opportunity. I actually ran across it just surfing the Bexar County website.
And Ms. Robles, thank you for the opportunity. One of the most important things to help individuals through the system is family support. Without that community and family support, nobody could be successful. And that applies to every one of us in this room as well. So thank you for being here. Is there any other guests that would like to take the opportunity to say a few words? All right, there being none, Judge Huff, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Okay, I'm back. So again, welcome everyone. At this time, I'm going to take a few minutes to introduce my team. I'll start with the court manager for the mental health court is Michelle Star Salazar. Adrian Rodriguez and Azalia Baldaras are case managers for the mental health court. Herman Booker is the court coordinator for County Court 12. Shanna Bandy is the PTD probate officer. Nicole Yates is one of the ADAs on the mental health. Brian O'Donnell is one of the public defenders. Jay Asisio Ruiz is our probation officer. Charlotte Reyes, I see her on here. She is the office assistant. She does an awesome job. Clarissa Leal is one of our liaisons from the Center for Healthcare Services. And Irene Maldonado, I see you there, Irene. She's our court reporter for County Court 12. And she often has to step into the mental health court session when we need to put something on the record. All right, so I'll start in right now. What I want to do first is give a quick history of specialty courts, all specialty courts all over America. So I did a little research. The first drug court was formed in Florida in 1989 in response to the growing crack cocaine problem at the time. What was going on is that crack was just becoming such a big problem and causing so much crime. The answer at that time from a lot of stakeholders were just build more prisons and lock more people up. So in response to that, you saw that when you lock someone up, we all know that for drug addiction, they're going to come right back out with the same problem. So that's why the response to that was, these programs, these specialty courts. Now, drug courts are now in all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. As of 2020, there are more than 3,700 drug courts. In my research, I found that there were annually about 130,000 people are processed through drug courts all across America. But what the telling number is that there's 1.5 million more eligible people that could be in these specialty courts. However, due to like rural areas where they don't have them, they're just not able to go to these courts. And we all know that the statistics of when someone does go to these courts, they're less likely to reoffend and the recidivism is really reduced. There are drug courts now all around the world, Australia. I was researching last night to see, I was just shocked at all the countries all over the world that have drug courts, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Nations, several in South America, even Vietnam. I was like, wow, this is just, it's just something to behold of how I think that drug courts are really the wave of the future and how we treat people. I think Judge Ron Hale said that these are not bad people. They're going through issues in their life. They're involved in the judicial system, and how do we as a society help them? And I often say, what does we as a society do with a veteran that has fallen down in life? He's now in the judicial system. He served this country well. Do we lock that person up, or do we try to get him help for PTSD, whatever's going on, the assault case, the drug, alcohol? That's because that we all encounter these problems. And believe it or not, when I was a defense attorney for 22 years, I would just come across so many defendants that would be veterans, and they had never heard these problems. I'm over here because I knew about them as a defense attorney on the felony drug court, that these people that did not know that there was programs out there for them. I actually was at a ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday, and someone from the military came up to me and asked me would I go to the bases to speak, because they didn't know. And I didn't know there was such a thing as when you leave the military, it's called TAPS. I guess that's an exit program. I guess people on here that are veterans know that she said, it would be a good thing if when they're leaving the military, that someone would describe what, if anyone would get in trouble, what these specialty courts are. I'm like, thanks for telling me that, because I wasn't even aware. I'm sure Josh probably knows that. Could someone help tell the veterans that are leaving the military about these programs? And I have gone out to some of the bases and presented. And of course, they're always really surprised. They've never heard of these programs. And that's my mission as judge, just to get the word out to as many people all over about what these programs do for the community. Okay. So recidivism rates for special courts are between 4 and, I said it was kind of all over the place, between 4 and 29%, which is great, as opposed to just regular probation when the recidivism rate is 48%. So that means like almost half the people that go through the probation system in just a regular way, they're going to reoffend, they're going to be back in the judicial system. But going through the specialty courts, that number is so low. I know that our in the mental health court, our success rate is almost 80% now. And we measure that by 2 years out, 3 years out, 5 years out. Where we haven't seen them in a judicial system in like 3 years out, we consider that a success, because we've done our job in keeping them. And that's the whole point of it all, is to keep them out of the judicial system. I'll tell the people that come before me, and sometimes they're young, I don't want to see your daughter, your son in the judicial system, and I want them to go through this program. I'll say to the team, I don't ask, or I don't try to convince any defense attorney to put their clients in any of these programs. And I'll say, the point that I'm trying to make is that when I see these cases like criminal trespass, harassment, a criminal mischief. I know what's going on here. This person is homeless, they have mental health issues, and they're cycling in and out of the judicial system. And it tells someone gets this person and does the really intensive wraparound services to get this person on their feet in line, we're going to just keep seeing that person cycle in and out. I've seen people that have had 25 cases of criminal mischief. And that means that they go to jail court, they get a judgment satisfied, they're back on the street, they go right back up to the Valero, harassing people for money, the cops are called, and then they're right back in jail again. It's over and over again. And I've even started saying to some of the defense attorneys, look, I know what your job is, and I know what your client was, but you also, part of your job is to counsel these people, that to explain to them, let them have that choice that, hey, there's a program out here for you, that if you want to do it, there's help at the courthouse. It's free of charge to almost everybody. And I want to see more of that than these little piddly cases just cycling. And that's costing everybody, the jail, the county, more and more, just money. These people are cycling in and out of the courthouse. Okay, so for people that are on the Zoom, they've never heard these programs. These are the 5 main things that these special courts are trying to do. Immediate intervention that focuses on outcomes such as narcotics, alcohol, and group counseling, group and individual counseling. This is a non-adversarial judicial process. We do intensive interactions between the judge and the offenders. And we all know that the participant is seeing me, the judge. If they do something, they test positive on Tuesday, we may have that person back in court on Monday to explain themselves. So, you don't want someone, like if your child gets a B and you don't want to talk to them at, 3 months later about that B. I shouldn't say B. If their child gets a D on the report card, as a parent, you really want to talk to that child right away. You don't want to wait like 4 months down the road. Like, now it's time to talk about that D you got. No, you need immediate reaction. And that's what we do in the specialty course. We are talking to the participant that does something wrong immediately, instead of like in regular probation where they may see that judge the next month, or MTR is filed. They may not get it back before that judge for several months down the road. And that's really not helpful at all. Okay, we have an interdisciplinary team approach, which means that I have a team, and all the special courts have a team, and these teams consist of many stakeholders in the community. They have a defense attorney, it's an ADA, we have clinicians, we have case managers, probation officers. So I, as judge, I don't make a lot of these decisions because I'm not a clinician. I listen to the experts that are on my team, the doctors that I send people to. I've heard people say judges shouldn't be down at the courthouse being social workers. Well, I'm not being a social worker. I'm being a judge. So that this team, it consists of anywhere from 15 to 20 people. And the team is reporting to me. We're staffing each case that is on the docket that day. So it's a very much an interdisciplinary team approach. And we also have a set of clearly defined rules and goals. Each participant knows, like, if you get in trouble, this is a progressive, this is a step up. Someone tests positive, what may happen is that I may give them I may admonish them. They test positive again, I may give them a jury box sanction, which means they have to come to my court, sit in that jury box from 9 to 12, and then I'll let them go. It may be 2 jury boxes. They have to do that 2 days in a row. And they keep on, not leaning into the program. I may give them a day or 2 in jail, which I really hate to do because this is mental health court, but sometimes I've had to go there. And we do the same thing with it may be outpatient, it may be inpatient, it may be MyOff, now called the DDRF program. There are many approaches. It's called, they clearly know what the rules and goals are, because I like to say, if you're playing a game, everyone wants to know what the rules of that game is, right? And so it's very imperative that the participants understand that. And I say to my team, like, in the mental health court, it's a 12-month program. It's 5 phases. And I know that when these people are signing in, the defense attorney is going over the 5 phases. I know the case managers go over the 5 phases. I know that everyone, but I'll still talk to the participants on the Zoom, and I'll say, "What phase are you in?" I don't know. You're aware this? It's like over and over again, just me interacting with them and telling the participants what are the set goals, what are the rules. I'll say, when you get to phase 5, at that point that you're almost about to graduate. That means that this whole year you've done well, you've gotten yourself through all these phases, you're about to graduate. And so it's just that I'm just stating to the audience that these set of clearly defined rules are a very important part of all specialty courts. Okay, so I'm going to go into a quick now Judge Rahel, let me know how I am for time. I don't want to go over my 20 minutes, okay? All right. So the mental health court is a specialty court of course. We call it specialty court, treatment courts, drug court. We use those words interchangeably. It's all really the same thing. And what we talk about when we say court is really a docket. I have a docket, and I call my docket on Monday afternoons. And I have a PTD docket. I call that on Thursday mornings. And the PTD docket, that's pre-trial diversion, that someone is not put on probation or anything. I'd like to say to the participants so they can understand it clearly. It's like you're charged with something, but we take that case and we kind of sit it on the shelf. We'll put you in this program for 12 months to see how you do. If you do very well, the case just goes away and you're graduating. You've fulfilled all the duties. You fulfilled that contract. So I have a 12-month program. And I know different specialty courts. I know the felony drug court is a 24-month program, but each court has their rules and guidelines set out. All specialty courts must follow the guidelines of NADCP. That's the National Association of Drug Court Professionals. They're headquartered in DC. We have to follow those guidelines. We have to follow the key components. All specialty courts have to be registered with OCA. That's the Office of Court Administration. And also, so it's really a big deal when a county gets a specialty court, because it takes a lot to bring these courts into existence. And we have to follow the guidelines. Because it's very important, again, goals and the guidelines. Okay. All the practices are evidence-based and research. So I'm not just out here willy-nilly saying things to people. These practices, these incentives, these sanctions, they're evidence-based, they work. And if we don't follow these practices, sometimes drug courts or specialty courts get into trouble. They'll have someone come down, let's see what's going on here. Are you guys following these evidence-based guidelines? And I mean, it is very imperative that we do this, and we know that things could go wrong if we don't follow the guidelines that are set out by NADCP. Okay, so why specialty courts? Why would anybody want to go into a specialty court? What do they do? What is the purpose of specialty courts? And the bottom line to me, how I like to say, is that it is to keep people in the judicial system out of prisons and jail. That is, to me, is the whole. If someone can go through these programs and we don't see them again, we've successfully put them on their feet where they should be in life, then we've done our job. Because I just don't want to see you in that judicial system. And I'll tell the participants that are before me, it benefits society when you are where you should be in life. It benefits your family. It benefits you. When you're not where you should be, it hurts everybody around you. So what Judge Rahel said, these are not bad people. They've just fallen down in life and they need help to get where they should be. And the programs are very intensive. I make no bones about that. I don't try to, when defense attorney tells me, why should I let my client go into your program? All he got was a criminal mischief. Your program is 12 months. That's too much punishment. And I'll say, this is not an adversarial approach. The 12 months are truly needed. And how do we help someone that's been on heroin for 16 years, they're prostituting themselves? Is 12 months even enough time to get that person on their feet? Sometimes I feel like it's not. I know I'll tell the participants, look, this is a finite program. We have a beginning and we have an end. This 12 months are going to go by so fast. And I want you to take these tools away that you're learning from this program. So I don't look at it like, and I know that this is not an adversarial approach, and I'll say it to the defense attorney. So I'm not trying to punish your client. I'm trying to help your client. So if you don't choose to put the client in any of these specialty courts, I guarantee you I'll see that client cycling. If it's some approach like drugs, alcohol, they'll go through. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a one-off. Your client, he's going to do better. But if I'm right and you've just wasted, everyone in system's time, 2-day JSAT, and they're back out 3 weeks later, they're back in the system. So again, I don't try to convince any defense attorney to use these programs. I know they work, and I want them to know they work by the defendants that do send their clients this way. And they know it too. I've had so many defense attorneys and families, they'll say, I didn't think it would work, but they went through it and it worked. They lean into the program and they know it works. Okay. All right, continue. Okay, so how do you get into the mental health court? We do it by referral. Anyone could do a referral. A family member can. Usually it's a defense attorney, someone from the AD's office, judges refer, family member, the person themselves can refer. We try to make it very easy because once that referral comes, we do an intake. The case manager do an intake. We set the person up to get assessed at the Center for Healthcare Services. Now, you don't even have to have ever been diagnosed with a mental health. I have a mental health diagnosis. If you just think, I'm bipolar, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, let us decide. Send them over anyway. We'll get that person properly assessed. That's how plain and simple we try to make it. And so they're going to get evaluated. Either they're going to be accepted in or not, but you'll never know until you send that referral over. Okay. The defendant does not have to. Once we have the referral and the person is done, the person is done the intake, done the evaluation, they appear before me so I can plead a case in. Like I said, we do our plea-ins on Thursday mornings. I don't know if I said that before, but anybody that's pleading into the mental health court, we set them all on Thursday mornings. And once that plea-in is done, I set them for a court day immediately within 2 weeks to see me, and we welcome them to the team. I usually give all the defendants a treat. We have T-shirts made for the mental health. I give them each one. Before COVID, we would have mentors there at court to talk to them, to let them know, because no one can explain this program better than someone that's already gone through the program. I can talk to case managers about someone that's really in it. And I really appreciate those mentors that used to come. And I just hope one day soon when we get back to in person, we can start that project back up again. Okay. And in the mental health court, I like to call it a wraparound approach because what we're dealing with is the substance abuse and the mental health issue. So we're doing an evaluation in OSAR or TAP to see what level of treatment that the substance abuse needs. We'll do the assessment for mental health. Do they need medication? Do they need something more? Is this person homeless? We help them get a home. Do they need SSI? We'll help them with that. It truly is a wraparound approach. We give out gift cards for groceries. We give out bus passes. We often pay for UAs. So we try to make it that there's no excuse that this defendant should have. If they want to get their lives on track, we're there. I often tell them, you're not here for us. We are here for you. The team is here for you. I'll have participants say to me, Judge, I didn't do any drugs this week. And I kind of laugh, like, that's good. You're doing that for yourself. That is awesome. And just reminding them, and I'll have to, like, from time to time admonish them about things that they do in the program. That's that connection, I think, that makes these programs so great, is that one-on-one that the judge has with the participant, how often they're seeing the judge. In my court, I'm not even on the bench. I'm not even in my robe. We put the chairs together, the defense and ADA's table, and we put chairs all around them. And I'm sitting on one side and the defendant is on the other. And I'll just let them, so what's going on? Tell me what's going on in their life. And they later they'll say, the ones that knew the other way, the ones that have done it with me doing it this way, so they just love the difference because it just makes it so real to them that they can sit before me and just talk to me in a real way about what's going on. And you wouldn't believe, some of them open up, whoo, I think they were never going to stop talking. It really just opens it up. They feel so comfortable because I'm making them feel like that they just really open up. And I got that approach from Judge Sakai, because in Judge Sakai's court, he did that. When I was as a defense attorney, I was still ideas from judges all the time. Like Judge Von Hell, I like the way he does things in the committees. I'm still in that idea. And Judge Ernie Glenn, how he would run his court, I consider those my mentors. I still ideas all the time from how they did their course and how I'm doing my course. Take what you need, right? Okay. So the program is 12 months long. The substance abuse I talked about, the UA call line is something that a participant must do. That means that this program is 12 months long, and that participant has to call the UA call line 365 days. And I mean Christmas, Easter, every day. And they'll skip, they'll forget. And I'll tell them, hey, this is the low-hanging fruit, man. This is something that you have to do every day. I have young adults, I have a teenager in my family, and I know they love the phone. They set, these timers on their phones, their phones all the time. I said, I know how young people love the phone. Just set those timers at 6 when the UA call line opens. That is something that I think as judge that they should never skip, but it's something that happens all the time. we have regular UA, so that's the purpose of the UA call line. They never know when they're going to get called up. They just have to call the UA call line every single day, and they may have to UA that day, they may not. But that's teaching responsibility and commitment on this path to something that to getting their lives in order, and, being responsible and being committed and being consistent. Then that's what I tell them. So we talk about the sanctions and the incentives. In my court, we have sanctions where if they're doing something wrong, I think I explained earlier, jury box sanctions, a day or two in jail, writing an essay explaining the importance of consistency. And the rewards are, we may give them a skip a court. They may get like, let's see, we give them like a little voucher to help them pay off their fees and fines. It's different things that we do. I give them gift cards. We have this fishbowl where everybody that's on the docket that day, if you've done well since your last court date, your name goes in the fishbowl, and then I'll pull it, and we'll congratulate everyone that made it, and I'll say, I know that you did well since the last court date because you're on the fishbowl list, and then we put all those names and we draw, and whoever wins, and we'll put the little thing up, and hey, you have your choice of a Walmart, Chick-fil-A, Bill Miller's, and they all really like that. They love it so much. I often feel that it's judged that I'm pandering to adults, but you would not believe how much they like it. They love it. They'll say to me, I'm going to be in that fishbowl next time, Judge. And I have this big treat basket where I have these big Hershey candy bars, and they just like that too. If they've done well overall, they could be in the fishbowl and they could be in the treat basket. Sometimes they're in one, sometimes they're not in the other. But you wouldn't believe how much they like that. They like that achievement. They like the me as judge saying to them, I'm so proud of you. You did great this week. It means a lot because some of these participants, they've had lots of trauma in their lives. And someone just saying that, I got your back. You did great this week. That means so much to them. I mean, the graduation ceremony at the end, lots of them have never graduated high school. So to do this, to actually go through this program, and it's hard, and I'll tell them it's hard, but you did it, you achieved it. Now we're gonna put the cap and gown on. We're gonna have the whole ceremony. I want you to invite your family and friends. I want you to see how awesome you did. I want to celebrate you, how awesome that you did in this program. And I want them to understand that you did great. You did something great. Be proud of yourself because you achieved this. That's and all specialty courts have two graduation ceremonies, one in the spring and one in the fall. We actually just had one on May 7th. You're welcome to see it. I have it posted on my YouTube channel. So how's my time, Judge?
It's been about 22 minutes.
Okay, I'll stop there. So you can feel my passion that I have for the mental health court and how I do. So I thank all you guys today, and I'll pass it on to Esperanza right now.
Okay. Thank you, Judge Huff. Judge Huff went through a lot of the stuff, so that kind of cuts down on what I have to tell you. So thank you, Judge Huff. I appreciate that. I sincerely do. Let me introduce myself real quickly. I'm kind of new to this, not new to specialty courts. My name is Jennifer Pena. I'm the judge of the 290th District Court. That's a felony court. We deal with only felonies in those courts. So what I want to stress to everyone here is that myself, Judge Huff, and Judge Rangel, in addition to having our dockets for these specialty courts, we have a regular docket. So while we're working on our regular court docket stuff, we've taken on these extra dockets to spend this time with the participants in these specialty courts. So Judge Torres Stahl reached out to me about a year ago and asked, hey, are you interested? You want to come back? Because I started off, my background is I was a prosecutor for about 8 years before, or right around the time I think drug court was starting. I remember Judge Alonzo starting the misdemeanor DWI court. And I think Judge Ramon was starting the Esperanza court right as I was leaving the district attorney's office. And I always thought to myself as a prosecutor, I just kind of felt like we were putting Band-Aids on people, not really helping people, just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it without really giving them any kind of real help to really make a difference. So I became a defense attorney. Immediately, I started working with the specialty courts. I did the misdemeanor DWI court, and then later I joined Judge Glenn's felony court and Judge Ramon's Esperanza court. She is the person who started the Esperanza Court. Since then, there have been a couple of judges since Judge Roman. So I learned a lot. I learned that it's a lot of hard work for everybody, mainly the participants, but for everybody involved, the judge, the caseworkers, the probation officers, the counseling services, the case managers. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of just being there and just listening. So I was elected 2 years ago. And last year, Judge Torstall reached out and asked if I would be interested in helping her with the Esperanza Court, coming back to the Esperanza Court, because I had been in Esperanza right before I became a judge as the defense attorney. And I was more than happy to come and help, and here I am now. So I'm getting ready, or we're getting ready to graduate, I guess, have my first graduation as a judge for Esperanza at the end of this month. So we're really excited about that. We have 5 participants that's going to be graduating at the end of this month. But what I like to say is that this program is not about me at all. I probably do the least amount of work in the program, honestly. It's about the probation officers, and we're going to go through and I'm going to introduce you to everybody, but it is a team effort. It takes a lot of work. I think, I don't know if it was Judge Gonzalez or another judge that I heard a long time ago say this to participants. I think we were all working as defense attorneys. And I remember somebody telling them, look, it took you a long time to get to where you're at now. These participants trying to encouraging them to stay in the program. It took you years and years to get to where you are now. And changing is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time and it's going to take work, just encouraging them to stay in the program. And that's always stuck with me. And that's what I try to remind the participants of. But enough about myself. I want to introduce you to the team. Let's see, the first person I'd like to introduce you to is Rachel Estrada. She is kind of she organizes everything. She talks to all the participants, organizes her schedule. She's awesome. It's a lot of work. She's on call all day long, on weekends. The phones never shut down, even though I tell folks to shut down those phones, but they don't. They still continue. So she just does an amazing job of helping participants organize their schedule, getting them to where they need to be, getting them assistance if they need it, if they need clothes for a job interview, if they need bus passes, whatever they need, she's the go-to person. Rachel, if you want to say a few words, I know you may or I don't like talking in public, so I don't know if you're like that too, but Ms. Estrada, if you'd like to say a few words, please.
Well, it's like the judge said, I am the case manager for Esperanza Court, and I do help the participants. I am the first person that they meet whenever they are going to come into the program. I complete their assessments and present information to the team to see if the individual is a good candidate for our program. Once in the program, I do help them with any of their daily needs that they will need, all of their basic necessities so that they don't have to reoffend. Anything from clothing to bus passes, hygiene, anything that they will need is what we try to help them with. That way they don't have to go back and pick up any other charges in order to be able to cover their basic needs. So yeah, I just basically help them with anything that they need help with.
Thank you, Ms. Estrada.
Thank you,
and so the next person I'd like to introduce you to is the probation officer, Ms. Linda Thorpe. She is amazing. She is the probation officer for all the participants, regardless of the amount of participants we have. Sometimes it's a whole lot of participants. Sometimes we run a little low on participants, but she is the probation officer for everyone. She is the lady that keeps everyone in check. Her job is very tough. She has to be tough but caring with participants. She has to be understanding. She has to be on call all day long, every day. I just don't see a rest for Ms. Thorpe. Ms. Thorpe, is there anything you would like to say?
Judge, I think you said it all. I don't want to take time away from the others.
Ms. Thorpe is awesome. And I'll share this, but a lot of the participants will tell you that they hated Ms. Thorpe. They hated Ms. Thorpe. Ms. Thorpe was always messing with me. She's always trying to get me in trouble. But by the time they graduate, they cannot stop singing her praises. So it's amazing to see that, so we appreciate Ms. Thorpe. She's awesome. The next person I'd like to introduce you to, actually, these two individuals, they are in charge of the counseling services that the participants receive. And I think this kind of makes the difference, right, between the regular probation and specialty court probation, is that while you're in specialty court, you are told you need to go see a counselor, whether they want to or not, whether they think they need it or not. Most of them don't think they need it until they're there and they're like, wow, really? Is that why I do what I do? And it's a progress, and it's a beautiful progress to see the change in participants thanks to Ms. Victoria and Mr. Vargas. They're wonderful counselors. They are the backbone of the program. Without them, there would be absolutely no program. So I'm going to start with Ms. Victoria. Ms. Victoria, you want to?
Good morning, everybody. Just a real quick rundown of treatment when they start with us. They start out typically on an intensive schedule, which is 4 groups and 1 individual a week. And we start them out on that because they have so many needs and there's so many things going on, the trauma, the mental health, the substance use, and we really have to get them stabilized in order for them to start being successful in other areas of the program. My agency is Rosetta's Key, and we offer specialized groups for their trauma, for their substance use. We have parenting, and we also have the groups separated for men and women, as well as combined groups to help them deal with the various issues that affect the different genders. I think I'll let Patrick go ahead and speak now.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm just going to add to what Victoria said. We are an agency on the West Side, Elite Counseling. Obviously, we've been around for a while. So the specialty courts, we can prove that these courts work because we've seen them when they first come in, and halfway through their treatment or halfway through their probation. There's some changes, but old habits, they die very slowly. So sometimes they don't even know what's best for them. It takes time. So this is why specialty courts are designed for 12, 18, 24 months. Because the longer they stay in the program, the better their chances of being successful and to maintain their long-term recovery. So they're all designed in phases, several phases, depending on which specialty court you're talking to or talking about. But at the end, when we have these graduates, that's when they realize what they have accomplished and what they have achieved. The whole goal is for these ladies and men to become self-sufficient, to become independent, to be employed, and to have a stable mentality, and that includes substance use and mental health. So Victoria is correct. We do treat them concurrently, co-occurring disorders, and it takes the whole team. It really does take the whole team to get these clients from A to B, starting from the screening that Rachel does to the law enforcement and the monitoring and the GPSs that Officer Thorpe monitors, and then us as we restructure their thinking, because if they can't change their belief systems, nothing is going to change. But anyway, it's an honor to be part of this coalition, part of Esperanza Court, and we have been here since the beginning, and we're still here, and I don't think we're going anywhere. What else would I do? Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that's the most I've heard Patrick talk ever. but that was awesome, Mr. Vargas. Thank you. Okay, so real quick, I know I'm probably running out of time and there's so many important people left. Okay, so in addition to the counseling, we have housing. And Veronica Solis, I know you were here. Where are you, Veronica? Wave your hand. Yeah, there you are. Now, Miss Solis is awesome. She helps with finding housing. She is in charge of that. And just a quick shout out. This past week, I had a veteran on probation, just regular probation. He was not in any, and he's not in any specialty court. He's homeless. He doesn't have his proper paperwork. He's been living on a bench. So this week, Miss Solis has been helping me find housing for him to get him out of jail and into a program. So just a shout out. Thank you, Miss Solis, for doing that. But Miss Solis, introduce yourself.
Hi, Veronica Solis with Crosspoint. And like Patrick said, we've been with the court since its inception, providing transitional housing for both the male and female participants. So again, it's an honor to be able to provide this assistance, and they're able to stay under the grant as long as the team decides that that's an appropriate setting for them, so then they can move on to more stable housing, reconnect with their own apartment or their family, or maybe an Oxford home to continue their progress with the program.
Thank you, Ms. Solis. And she does a lot of work, a lot of coordination. Thank God. And then, last but not least, let me introduce to the attorneys. These people play an important role in the program too, right? You got the state represented by Sade Mitchell and defense represented by Meredith Chacon. We have another Rochelle Acevedo, but she couldn't be with us today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. Ms. Mitchell, you go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Sade Mitchell, and I work for the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office, and I work in Esperanza Court. It's a little different than what I usually do on my day-to-day. It's usually adversarial with defense, but in Esperanza Court, we really do work as a team to try to do what's best for all of the participants.
Hi, everyone. My name is Meredith Chacon. I have the privilege of being one of the defense attorneys assigned to Esperanza Court. It's a cause that is very close to my heart. And I will say specialty courts work, and we need to get that message out there. And I'm so pleased that our Representative Gervin Hawkins was here today to hear us, because we need the support of the legislature. These programs need to be expanded, because every one of these people that we're able to rehabilitate is successful. And it's very gratifying to watch them go through that process. So.
And I'm sorry, I just got noticed. Is Carolina Ramirez? Carolina, are you here today? Raise your hand. I am so sorry, Ms. Ramirez. She is also one of our caseworkers. So she does a lot of she works with Ms. Estrada, a lot of organization. I just don't know how they have the time to do it. Seriously, Ms. Ramirez, would you like to say a couple of words?
Hello. I just wanted to say that I've been with Esperanza Court for, I'd say, about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I just want to say thank you for all the specialty courts and really Esperanza Court. It's just amazing to see what the participants do just to better themselves. And it's just amazing to see them from the beginning of the Esperanza Court, from phase 1 to graduation, just them evolving and just becoming a better person. So I really love what the specialty courts do and Esperanza Court, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. And before I leave, you're going to hear from 2 of our participants, and that's the other core part of the program. We can have the program, of course, with our participants. And I tell you this because the reality, and a lot of these ladies know this, especially in felony court, is that it's probably easier to do time than do the treatment program. So when they're faced with that choice of doing time and doing the treatment, a lot of them are putting themselves out there to go into this program, dealing with issues they've never dealt with, didn't want to, don't want to. So they do a lot of the work. Without participants, there would be no program. Esperanza stands for hope. So that's what this program brings to ladies that are in felony court that are looking to change. And they're willing to put in the work to do it. And so I am blessed to be a part of this team. I'm very lucky and grateful. And so I look forward to hearing from the 2 participants later. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to see them here this morning. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear you guys. And I guess I'm gonna be quiet now and move on to the next speaker. Maybe I spoke too much, Judge Rangel.
No, you didn't. You didn't speak too much. You did a great job. All right, thank you, Judge Pena. And so the next individual then would be speaking. That'd be Joshua Childers for the Veterans Treatment Court.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in on this rainy Saturday morning.
Excuse me, Josh. I thought we were going to
Yeah.
have the 2 testimonials and then we're going to the last court,
Are we going to do that now?
right?
Or-
Was that going to be
okay.
the plan, Michelle? Because we had 4.
Esperanza Court was able to get 2 of their graduates, Judge Rangel, so it'll be Miss Brandy and Miss Cynthia.
Okay.
And then we'll let Josh go into his overview
All right.
after the 2 testimonies for Esperanza Court. So Jennifer, if you don't mind introducing them.
Yes,
Just
I'm
Pena?
sorry. Okay. First, we're going to start with Miss Williams, who will be graduating next week. I just adore Miss Williams. I came into the program about a year ago, so I didn't get to see her at the beginning, but I see her for the woman she is now, and she is an amazing woman. She has done some amazing things, and I'm super proud of her. And I can't wait to see what else she has set as goals and accomplishments. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Miss Williams.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a great day and a long time coming. It is such a blessing and one of my biggest accomplishments yet to be here in front of all of you today. It's been a long journey, but it has also been a great one. For a long time, I was an addict, which led to prostitution, and it started at the age of 16, and I am now 41. I thought the way I was living, and I had no problems with that. I was comfortable in my distorted reality, and even though I knew something needed to change, I didn't have a single clue how to do it. See, I've spent a lot of time in jails and institutions because of my lifestyle I chose to lead, and despite the consequences, I continued to go back. My parents both passed while I was gone 2 different times, and so my support was little, and it made it hard for me to stay focused and on track, especially starting from the scratch and alone. So I would just go right back to doing the things before. In 2019, I was fighting yet another case for prostitution, but this time because of so many, I was looking at TDC time. Yes, I was sick and tired, but I didn't know the steps I needed to take in order to change. I was involved in pretrial, but I was still getting high. My original judge saw that I needed more structure and support and recommended I join Esperanza Court. At first in my mind, I was like, yeah, right, I'll just do my time. But that part of me that was sick and tired kept calling in my head, shouting, something's gotta give, reminding me of the things I've lost. It also reminded me of the person I cried out I wanted to be on those bad days, and the person I wanted to be before I ever got off my intended path. What bad would it do to see what it was about? On November 13, 2019, I walked into Esperanza Court under the influence, and I watched the whole court session. But being I was still on the fence of not really retiring from my life quite yet, it didn't really sink in. I just saw familiar faces, looking good and having positive things to say about what they were doing. And it was what I wanted. So after it was all done, my desire was ignited, and I stepped up and out of my comfort zone and agreed to participate in all the good things I was seeing. And literally that day was the day my life began to change. Without hesitation, and in that instant, the Esperanza team went to work on me, a major overhaul. I was locked up that day and sent to start my much needed treatment. I went in kicking and screaming, no lie, but I remembered what a previous counselor I had told me, and it was this. I've been out there living the way I was living for so long that I needed a lot of help to change and break the things I was accustomed to. So I surrendered. This program from the beginning gave me the opportunity to work on my core issues, help me recognize them, so I was no longer using them as permission statements to do whatever I please. I started living structured and by the rules. Upon release, all the things I learned continued in the world as well, in which I'm grateful for, because that's the real test, especially when you're living life on life terms. It didn't stop at treatment. No, I stepped in the world with continued care. My Esperanza team was right by my side to help me along the way and with anything and everything, with true, genuine support and guidance for me to succeed. I've learned how to be transparent. I've gained integrity, and I'm a responsible adult now. I could have looked at it like, oh, it's 2 years. But once the process started, my lifestyle changed and I became a new woman. Esperanza is a major part of my life, and I'm so grateful because they saved my life. Like they say in the big book, lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. It's true. Today, I am 1 year, 6 months, 8 days clean. I work 2 jobs. I actively and willingly participate in my treatment. I'm enrolling in school for my CDL, which I will start in June, and I give all the glory to Esperanza Court, for my counselors, my PO, my case managers, and also to my judges. Because without their diligence, guidance, and hard work and support, I wouldn't be living my best life and to my potential as I am today. Thank you, and I'm forever grateful for the Esperanza team, which is now my family.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Okay, so when y'all see Ms. Williams in her truck, make sure you go like this so she can honk her horn. I told you Ms. Williams is great. And another great participant we got is Ms. Portillo. And I am so, she's newer to the program than Ms. Williams. I think we may have joined around the same time, or I may have come in around the same time as she started, but she is a blessing. She has the most infectious smile that you will see. I love seeing her every week, and I just look forward to seeing what she's gonna do with her life. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Ms. Cynthia.
Thank you, Judge. Well, I just wanted to say this program has done a lot for me. Since the age of 16, I started off in a bad, environment, got into drugs. At the age of 24, prostituting and disrespecting my body. I was lost. I didn't have much, I didn't have motivation. I didn't have life. I didn't have anything. I was confused. I was in a downward spiral. And going into jail and prison was an ongoing cycle. I learned to accept that that was my life. I accepted that every day I would wake up dope sick. Every day I would wake up either in a jail or with different family in a car. I accepted that as my life. I was very confused and in a bad state of mind. But I got arrested on September 13th of 2019. And I remember I was in your courtroom, Judge Pena, and you said you should go into this program. And my first thought was, let me do my time. I'm just going to go to prison, get out, and that's it. I wasn't being a big girl about my, accountability and hurting the community. But I realized that I was tired. I was tired of that. I knew I still had some light left in my soul. So I went ahead and accepted I got into the program, and I did I went to MyOff, and MyOff was very important for me. Without MyOff, I wouldn't be able to grasp, the concept of my mental illness and get a better understanding about it, get stabilization, get better direction and counseling that I needed for all my trauma and everything that I've endured. So with that being said, going to MyOff was very important for my recovery. So I moved forward, I got medicated, and then here I am in the program, and my team is awesome. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. The judge and everybody in my team have got me back into learning responsibilities, giving me my direction that I need, helping me understand that I need to be accountable for the things that we're supposed to be accountable for, the things that we, dismissed in our life. We know how to gain all that back now. And with that being said, I'm glad to have the light back into my soul and spirit. And I thank Esperanza Court.
Thank you, Ms. Portillo. That was beautiful. Gosh, I can't wait to see what you have in store for your future. I'm excited for both you and Ms. Williams and all the ladies actually in the program. So thank you. Without you guys, there would be no program. Without your hard work, there'd be no program. So thank you. Judge Reinheld?
Well, those are very inspiring stories. And that's really what the program is about. It's about human connection, human life, and to seeing folks really, really move forward in life. So thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's difficult sometimes to expose yourself like that in this forum, and it means a lot to all of us to see the results of your good hard work. So we'll go ahead and then turn it over to Joshua Childers with the Veterans Treatment Court.
Good morning. On behalf of Judge Wayne Christian, thank you for having me today. So there are a few things that I want to start with. One is a history of what Veterans Treatment Courts are, how we were formed here in Bexar County, and what our mission is. So Veterans Treatment Courts only began in the United States in 2008. The county commissioners and a few very strategic partners in the community decided that Veterans Treatment Courts really needed a home here in Bexar County, being a hub for many active duty military and veterans in the community. In 2010, our Veterans Treatment Court was established. In 2011, we had our first graduates. At this point, we've had over 650 graduates of our program. And to say that the recidivism, we just did a deep dive on recidivism since we had a lot of free time during our COVID at-home work cycles. And what we found is in the 10 years that we've been able to monitor within Bexar County for reoffenses, out of those 650, we've only had 80 who have reoffended here in Bexar County. And so for us, that is a phenomenal success rate, and it goes to show that there is merit to what we do and to how it affects those people that go through these programs. With that being said, I want to explain who we are as a staff and the roles that we play. So our misdemeanor Veterans Treatment Court is a pretty robust program. At any given time, we have between, even in our COVID days, we maintain about 70 to 80 veterans in our program. And then prior to COVID, we were above 100 veterans in our program at any given time. Because of that level of interaction with our veterans, we do have a large staff. We have a case manager, Chris Whitmore, retired Marine. We have a court manager, Mr. Ron Mora, who came from us after 20 years in the probation department. We have two community supervision officers, both veterans, both combat veterans, Officer Joe Bonablust and Officer Valerie Cerna. And additionally, we have liaisons that work with us from the Veterans Administration full-time. Ms. Cameron Cho is a Veterans Justice Outreach Coordinator. And then we have liaisons with our other community partners, and I'll go into that in a few minutes. So what is the Veterans Treatment Court? It was set up with the intent of acknowledging that there are veterans in our community who enter the criminal justice system. And for many of these people, they enter it because of some of the residual issues that occurred while they were on active duty. And what we found is, even though the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have dwindled down, many of our veterans do not really see fully the impact of some of those wounds, both mentally and physically, until years after. And so the majority of the people in our program have a mental health diagnosis of PTSD, anxiety, depression, as a result and linked to their military service. And for many years after separating for service, most people in our program tried to cope with these things on their own. And by trying to cope, maladaptive tools were used, such as alcohol and substance use, that brought them into the criminal justice system. And so our intent is twofold. One, to allow our justice-involved veterans to understand that a one-time offense in the criminal justice system does not make you a criminal for life, that your value to your family, your community, and for your service to our nation should be weighed against whatever that criminal charge is. And two, here's a place that we can help you heal and give you the tools that you need to be successful, not to re-enter the justice system. And for many of our veterans to have the opportunity to have your case dismissed and have it expunged from your record. And so this is a very well thought out program that has built upon the shoulders of drug courts and has really been effective here in Bexar County. We are the largest veterans treatment court in the state and one of the largest in the country when it comes to the amount of veterans that are in our program at any given time and over the years. Our veterans come in on a one-year program, and there are three really main elements to this program. The first being treatment. And so every veteran in our program arrives here with different needs. And so that treatment plan is specific and individualized. And the majority of our folks are going to go through the VA for their health care and mental health and substance use requirements. However, not every veteran in the community has access to the VA. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Some people are not given the right discharge paperwork to qualify for VA services. Some do not have enough active duty time to qualify. And some income levels may be too high for them to qualify if they do not have a disability rating. And so what we have is a community of partners that allow us to ensure that everyone that comes through our program has access to free, high quality outpatient services. And we partner with some of our biggest partners are Crosspoint, the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic, and the American GI Forum. And these three partners of ours have really helped us ensure that we can get high quality outpatient services to our veterans at no cost to them. And so it makes all the difference in the world to be a member of this Bexar County community of support systems. The second piece of this is structure. And I think this is something that you will see at every specialty court. There is no magic formula for these folks to have to figure out on their own to get through this program. It is set forth for them to see how to get through it. They know exactly what they need to do, how to achieve those goals, and who is there to assist them from day one. And by giving them the keys to that magic formula, it allows them to see how this progress works, what they need to do, and how they need to progress through the program to be successful. And I think that is something that the 10 key components that we all use really helps us build these programs to be successful. By giving them an opportunity to see what it takes to get through the program before they even come in, it allows them to really self-assess what they need to do internally to make it. And a lot of folks that start with us are very apprehensive because it is very time intensive when it comes to treatment, when it comes to the required courses they need to take, when it comes to meeting with their probation officers, being on alcohol monitoring devices, doing that daily UA for 365 days. It can be very overwhelming. And so to have these phases and key points for them to come back and see how others have progressed through the program and been there where they are is very important to us. Additionally, when it comes to the impact that we have, just as Judge Huff mentioned, having that face-to-face with our judge, Judge Wayne Christian, makes all the difference. And Judge Christian, he wears two hats. He's a County Court 6 judge, and many will have witnessed that he can be a very tough judge. If you come into his program on regular probation and you do not follow the guidelines of your contract with a district attorney, there can be some pretty big issues that may fall upon you. But he also wears another hat, and that's retired Colonel Wayne Christian, U.S. Army. And when our veterans come before him, he understands the specific issues that they have on an individual basis. And when they speak to him and they are honest about their issues and their concerns, and for those that come in our program, they do have missteps, and they may use substances, or they may do things that put themselves in harm's way. Judge Christian looks at them, understands where they're at, and what we found is the idea of letting down the judge and the staff has been one of the biggest motivators for our folks, because they understand the care that we put into this program, that we are here only because that they need us. We would not exist if they were not here. And so it's important for us to realize that when they come to us, it's about finding ways to interact with them to show that this is not a punitive structure, but a structure of redemption and a structure of finding ways to overcome whatever it is while they're in the program. So what are our outcomes? It's very important. Before I talk about outcomes, I talk about the role the district attorney plays within the Veterans Treatment Court. We've had multiple district attorneys in office while we've existed, and you can tell the progress and the support from each district attorney has a direct correlation to how well we function. And I am happy to say that we currently have more support from our district attorney's office than we have ever had. And the ability to bring veterans into this program with the opportunity to have their cases dismissed and expunged is a motivator above and beyond anything we could give them. And so for us, we are very thankful for the district attorney's office for making that a possibility. There are many veterans treatment courts in Texas that do not offer pretrial diversion. And you can see exactly how that factors into not only the amount of veterans they bring into the program, but it factors into their recidivism rate. It factors into their ability to have veterans complete the program within the 12 specified months of the program. And so we are very thankful for that. Again, I've talked about community partners, but I think it's very important. We also address something that I think all of us feel, and that's funding. The Veterans Treatment Court here in Bexar County is supported by 2 grant funds and program income. And so our staff are not paid directly by Bexar County. We have to work annually to ensure that we have funds to support the program that we have here. And most of the specialty courts have to do the same thing. And so advocacy for specialty courts is very important for us, both individually and as a group, to ensure that there are funding avenues for us to keep this going. And it's something that takes a lot of time away from some of our other focus areas, but it's very important. And so for us, when we go into the community, we need to let you know that these things only exist because there are advocates in the community that support us. And so the Office of the Governor for us and the Texas Veterans Commission are our 2 biggest supporters. And it's the same for most of our sister courts out there as well. And so we only exist because we can show to the community that we are viable, that we can have effective ways of ensuring that folks that come through our program have the tools they need to not re-enter the criminal justice system, but also be supportive members of our community once they leave. All that being said, I know we've heard a lot this morning, so I'm going to hand it back to Judge Rangel, and we can move forward unless anybody has any specific questions.
All right, there being none, we're actually making great time on the schedule. This is a really good meeting, and frankly, this is my first meeting to be involved with, and I'm really, really fortunate to be involved with this one. So next on the schedule are testimonials. The first testimonial will be a graduate from the Mental Health Court, GW. So GW, take it away.
Oh, Lord. Good morning, everyone. I had actually jotted down so much and quite a few individuals actually touched on a few of the things I was going to say. Actually, the last gentleman said, actually said part of my story. As far as I actually was in the National Guard. I didn't get my PTSD from going to war. And that's a misconception that a lot of people have, that you have to go to war, you have to go to battle to get PTSD. You do actually go to battle figuratively and physically with people or environments. But dealing with my trauma, I did self-medicate. I did get treatment for PTSD, but I had the misconception that you could get treatment and stop treatment. And so I started self-medicating by drinking. That was my substance abuse. And I didn't see that it was becoming a problem. I drank to forget and numb myself and be happy and didn't see that I was adding more toxins to just exist, and then did something dumb that could have been fatal, and got into the program. Another individual, what was it, Patrick Vargas? He said the same thing in a different word as far as everybody coming together. It does take a village with these programs. It takes a village, everybody doing their part to help everybody that's a participant in this program. But it also does take the participant wanting to make it through the program for themselves. I wanted to do it to not let myself down, most of all, but I didn't want to let my family down. And I didn't want to let my son down. I didn't want him. I've gone through life asking why this or why that, but I didn't want my son, if something were to happen to me, or even if I got put away, I didn't want him asking why for the rest of his life, because there's really no good answer. Selfish, basically. Part of it does come down to being selfish. When you could reach out for help, it in a way it's selfish. I believe a lot of people, that saying misery loves company, there's a positive side to misery loves company. With the groups, a lot of people, including myself, I'm introverted extrovert. You don't want to tell people what you went through, whether it's a assault or different things, the traumas you've gone through. But when you actually tell other people what you went through, you'll be surprised that somebody else has that same story or something similar. And you'll realize that story will help them, or you hear that they went through that same thing, and it'll help you get through your trauma, knowing that you shared that same story. And then the groups, they help you learn to cope outside of a bottle, outside of a needle, outside of doing toxic, dangerous things. They help you not, this program helps you not be self-destructive, helps you think about consequences and snowball effects, because you're not necessarily going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt the people around you. And everybody with the program, you're not punished for your traumas. You're not punished for having a mental health issue. You're treated. And just like the last gentleman said, mentioned the recidivism. I read a story about a nurse that he also self-medicated because he was dealing with having to deal with death a lot. And because he got bested, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. What good does it do to send somebody with PTSD and social anxiety? What good does it do to just throw them in prison? Send them into their worst nightmare. No treatment, no nothing. When they get out, what's going to happen? They're going to go straight back to what they know. It's just going to be a never-ending cycle. They're going to learn to do it better. With this program, it's on a foundation solidified in hope and change. These programs, they're a blessing to the community. And ironically, when right before graduation, this program doesn't stop life from happening. When right before graduation, I had a nut job bust windows out of my car in my apartment. The old me before this program started, I would have gone straight to the liquor store and gotten the strongest thing I could get just to knock myself out and make it through the night. Didn't even think about doing that. I'm still struggling and dealing with financial issues behind it. I'm dealing with life because I'm thinking about consequences. I know life happens. I know how to cope with it now. Without this program, it'd be another story. I'd be spiraling. I'd be manic. But this program, I'm stable. I can cope. This whole program is a blessing. And I appreciate from the bottom of my heart everyone that has played a part in it, this entire village. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much, GW. Thank you for
awesome
sharing
in
that
our
story.
program. She just graduated on May 7th, and she gave a testimonial at the graduation. And she just did awesome. She was one of the participants that just really leaned into the program. You could tell the ones that really want it and the ones I have to continually admonish and pull them along. But Jenny was one, like she said, she stepped in, and when she wants it, she hit the ground running. She never looked back. And what she's talking about is those tools she learned. So Gina's just awesome job, young lady. Thank you, Judge Rangel. Who do we have next?
Oh, next we have a graduate of the FDC, Jennifer W.
Is Jennifer on? Is she muted?
Is he talking about me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me today. It's truly an honor to be here to share my story with y'all. I am a graduate from Federal Drug Court, Felony Drug Court. And I am an addict in recovery. And what I've learned is that this is an ongoing process, and I stay in the recovery process. I don't even know where to start. I have such a short amount of time, but I grew up with two parents who were very hardworking. My mom is from the Valley. My dad is from San Antonio. They met in working in the fields. I have two older sisters, very older, 14 and 15 years older than me. And so I basically grew up as kind of alone by myself, because by the time I was 3 years old, my oldest sister already had her kids. And so I grew up, for me, I believe that the disease of addiction was present way before I even picked up my first drug. I started using when I was about 11 or 12 years old. I am 40 years old today, and the last time I was in handcuffs, I was 35 years old. It's because of felony drug court that I built this foundation and that I was able to get it clean. My parents were hardworking. They did everything they could for me. I remember my mom always saying, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why are you doing these things? Your sisters never did it. Why like you continuously doing these things?" I would run away. I would use, for me, it was a revolving door as well. As an adult, in and out of jail, on probation. I want to thank the lady who was my judge at the time in 2016, Ms. Rommel. At her discretion, she gave me an opportunity to get an interview at felony drug court because the DA, my options were safe P and safe P or 2-year state jail. And my intentions at the time weren't really to get clean. I asked for felony drug court because it was going to keep me out of jail, right? But not knowing that all along that it was God's plan for me to be in felony drug court. And so I got accepted, and it was so challenging at the beginning. It really was. I had so much to do, and for the first time in my life, I didn't have anything. I didn't have anyone. Because I caused so much damage in my active addiction. I came into the program with nothing but my clothes. I was staying at a friend's. And actually, she really wasn't a friend. She was actually someone who I used to sell to because I used to sell drugs as well. And so that was the only place I had to go. And I stayed there for a few months until it was no longer working out for me. And I was at outpatient and Alpha Home. And someone came in and talked about Crosspoint and that there was open beds. And I took that. I took that opportunity. And for the first time in my life, I was riding the bus everywhere. And it was so challenging to get to drug court, to get to probation, to get to see my case manager, to get to Alpha Home. At some point, I thought that I was like not going to be able to do this and I was totally going to fail. And but they worked with me, right, with my times and to get there on time because that was so important. And I did have a slip up. I didn't believe that alcohol was a drug, and I tried to be secretive, and I drank, and then random UA the next day, and I got caught. But that was, the best thing that could have happened to me was to get caught, but be given an opportunity to fix it, right? And with the program came of having to get a sponsor, work steps, and be active in a 12-step program. And so my sponsor at the time, told me either you're all in or you're not, because having one foot in and having one foot out is not going to work. So what is it going to be? Do you want to live or do you want to die? Because that's the road I was going, for us, our only, life is either jails, institutions, or death when we're using. And, you know, I had caused a lot of damage. In active addiction, I gave away my rights to 2 of my children. My oldest son, I have a relationship with him today, and I'm grateful for that. In the process of getting clean, you know, I had this really great case manager, Elsa, and she always encouraged me because I felt so discouraged that I'm a convicted felon. And so I was like, who's going to give me a job? Who's going to, you know, who cares if I go to school? Like, how is that going to help me if I'm not going to be able to get hired anywhere? And she continuously encouraged me, just go back to school, do what you want to do. Like, just do the footwork and leave the rest to God. Right. And with that, you know, I graduated felony drug court in 2016, April 2016. And I completed probation, believe it was October 2017. I just celebrated 5 years clean on April 5th. And thank you. And I'm still active in felony drug court, but because of the pandemic, I really haven't. I'm part of alumni. I am active in a 12-step program. I do have a sponsor. I work steps. And that's just what has worked for me. I have not been in handcuffs since 2015. I think the worst that I've gone is a speeding ticket, just one speeding ticket all this time. I've learned to give back to the community, give back instead of just take. I am very active in the 12-step program as well, helping other addicts, I'm of service to my family. And, you know, today they trust me. They trust me, and they know that when I say I'll be back, that I'm going to be back, right? Last year I got my associate's in criminal justice. I am pursuing a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I have about 1 more year. I'm at UTSA right now. And I'm also working on getting a pardon for my background, right? And so I continuously get encouraged to just keep going and pursue what I want to do. And so my dream is to be a probation officer in felony drug court, whether it be here in Bexar County or somewhere else. I truly believe in specialty courts, and we are so fortunate to have so many specialty courts here in Bexar County. And so I am grateful that I'm clean today and not causing destruction and harming others and harming myself most of all. This has been a great opportunity to let y'all know my story. So thank you, y'all. Thank you.
Good job, Jennifer. Good job. That's awesome.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, it kind of reminds me, it really is about a community, isn't it? You can walk down the street, give somebody a smile, include them as part of your community, and make a difference in people's lives. And just the little things, it's the little things that really make a difference. Those testimonials are fantastic. They're basically made my day. So I'm going to go about smiling a little more at folks today. All right. Well, thank you. Well, the next on the agenda is a panel discussion, question and answer session. So if you want, you could send in your questions through a chat, and I could, myself or Judge Huff can then ask anybody involved for the questions on behalf of you. So you're welcome to ask away. Any questions of any of the participants here? Mental health court, Esperanza court, or the Veterans Treatment Court? Here's a question. I don't know if this was mentioned, but is the Esperanza program just for women? Good question.
And let me unmute myself, sorry. That whole mute thing has been a pain this whole year. But anyway, Esperanza is not just for women, no. If you're on felony probation or have a felony case pending, and you qualify, one of the qualifications is that you've had a prostitution case in your history. Then we do the evaluation, and we try to accept everyone. We do our best to try to put everyone who wants to be in the program in the program. But no, it's definitely not just for women.
I want to say that of the 14 specialty courts, what we do is when people refer someone to me, if I think that that person is more appropriate for DWI, I will send it to the DWI court. And so you heard that, like Gina is a veteran, but she ended up in the mental health court. And that happens quite often. Sometimes I'll get someone from the DWI that even though they're charged as a DWI, the judge at the time will determine, you know what? I think mental health is the main issue going on in your life. What's causing what? And so that's how we do it. So we often transfer cases through the courts. So if you have a client, for the defense attorneys on, just start the process. Just refer them to any court. I mean, the intake ladies, I shouldn't say ladies, the intake people are so great. In my court, if you come to my court and you've been arrested for at least 2 DWIs, the DAs know, everyone knows that case is automatically getting sent to the DWI court for referral. And I'll have attorneys will say, well, we don't want to take the court. And I'll say, well, you don't have to, because all these courts are purely voluntary. So your client does not have to enter DWI court. However, they will be given the opportunity to know that there is help at that court, at this courthouse. So I'll say, you know what? I'm going to send you guys over there. You talk to the evaluator. You see if you like the program. If you like it, do it. If you don't, you can't go away saying that there was no help when another DWI gets on your record. So I have this battle with defense attorneys all the time. I just had someone in my court that was sent to me from another court, for the mental health court. She didn't want to do it. Her attorney didn't want her to do it. And I said, look, I'm not saying that you have to enter the mental health court. All I'm saying is that the judge that sent this case here ordered you to be evaluated for the mental health court. Whether you take it is on you. You see, I don't know. We did explain that to everyone watching that all these courts are purely voluntary. I actually get it on the record that you want to enter this court. Is this what you want to do? Did you sign that participant a contract agreement? Because it's voluntary, because a lot of them are getting to court, and I make no bones about it. These programs are hard. They're very intensive. And so I don't understand the pushback from, that we'll get sometimes, like we're soft on crime, to hug a thug, hug a hoe, because these programs are hard, much harder than ordinary probation. We're designed to be for high risk individuals. That's what that's what they're for, high-risk individuals in the community. And we welcome that. We want those high-risk people, because those are the ones that keep cycling in and out of the judicial system. Questions, anybody?
Well, there's a couple in the chat. Let me go ahead and ask those. Are the judges allowing attorneys to observe their proceedings in specialty court? And if so, are there volunteer opportunities for attorneys interested in one or more of these programs?
We sure do. I mean, you guys got to always remember that the specialty courts are still court. We have to let all these participants, they're afforded all the protections of the Constitution. This is still court. When I'm getting ready to send someone to jail for 2 days, they have their defense attorney on the program come in and defend them, just like any other procedure. Judge, don't send them in court, give them another chance. I can't just, do anything. We always must remember, this is still court. So that being said, they're open to the public. Anybody from the public can come. I would often invite many, many people in the public to come in and see. I want people to see, because as everyone is saying, once you observe it, you're a believer. You know how good these programs. I want anybody I meet in the community and they know that I'm a mental health, come on down, come see what we do. It's not a mystery or a secret to me. I want anybody to come and observe, because once they see it, they're a believer. Right, team members? How many times have somebody that observed your court say, oh, now I see. I mean, we can get more of the politicians to come over and see. We're trying to get more money for our courts, because all these courts run on grass. Because once we get them in, right, Christine, they are believers once we get them in to see what is happening in these courts. So yes, and what gave me, I love it that defense attorneys like Meredith is one of the defense attorneys. Brian O'Donnell is a public defender. Once you're given an opportunity, because what happens is that all these courts have teams. the teams have to have an ADA and a defense attorney on them. So once the defense attorney and the ADA are in the program, they're a believer forever, because that's what happened to me when these programs, I was way back there when Judge Alonzo first got the one that started. And he was telling the defense, me, Judge Boyd, Celeste Ramirez, he mentioned, I'm getting this new, we didn't know what he was talking about. He mentioned that we can get free seminars, free conference and go somewhere. We're in, it'd be paid for in New York. And so we didn't know what was going on, but once I heard the idea, I liked the idea. And when I got the opportunity to be a defense attorney with the felony drug court, I definitely took it. I was a believer from then on. So when I became a judge, oh yes, I wanted this program. I know how good these programs are. So I say that to say that the defense attorneys, and I've had some from veterans and say, how do I get involved in the Veterans Court? If there's an opening, just go and ask that judge. Just say, I'm interested. Let the judges know if any openings come up. I'm interested in being the defense attorney in this program. And any ADAs that come onto my court, they're very well versed in what I do. I drag them to the conferences everywhere. They're part of the team, right, Nicole? They come to every staffing. Yeah, I welcome the defense attorneys. I want them to know how these programs work.
All right, there's another question specifically for the Veterans Treatment Court. Do you have to be referred?
Well, I'll say this. We go out of our way to advertise the Veterans Treatment Court in as many places in the community as we can. And so the first place that most folks find out about us that didn't know before they are incarcerated is when they go see the magistrate at the jail, because we have signage everywhere. If you're a veteran, please read this. So for many of us, the referrals start then. What it's important to know is if a person has counsel assigned to them, they need to be in the process when it comes to the application process. We will tell anyone about the program, what the requirements are, but when we actually start that application process, we want to ensure that they are well informed of their rights, the facts of their case. So we do include their counsel at that point. But we get referrals from judges, we get referrals from defense attorneys, we even get referrals from prosecutors who identify folks as veterans, say, hey, Josh, this person's out here. And we go out of our way to ensure that we speak to their counsel first and then start that application process.
All right, are there any other questions from anyone? I don't see any other questions, Judge Hush. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Judge Ron Rangel. So I've been keeping track of the participants. I think at one point we got up to 44. I wished we could have gotten, I was hoping that we would get up to 100, because people are always constantly asking of us judges, what do the court system do for defendants? And we're putting this out there to the community. So you guys, we have 4 more seminars coming up. Share. Let the community, anywhere you want to post it, they're free. We try to make it as easy as simple. I want the community to know about these programs. They're wonderful. We're in like Military City. We have 2 veteran courts. We just want to get the word out there that there are more. We have a mental health court. We have an Esperanza court. So please share. I want to see more people on these Zooms and from the public to explain, because the better the public knows, the better it is for everybody. Like I like to say, when all our participants are where they should be in life, that benefits society. Society does better, the family does better. Like Gina said, you hurt people when you're not where you're supposed to be in life. And these programs are designed to get people where they should be. I mean, we've heard these wonderful testimonies. I mean, they get me every time. Adrienne Rodriguez, one of my case managers, says she can't even go to a graduation. She just cries. She brings her tissue. I mean, you can't go to a veteran's graduation ceremony and keep a dry eye. I challenge you. It is just the most rewarding thing to see. I mean, go to Judge Shakai's family, the CPS one, and you hear those inspiring stories, and you'll know that these programs work so great, the ones that lean in. And we'll say that all of the testimony is said, oh my God, these programs are hard. I want to quit. And my team knows what my words are. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Anything worth having in life is usually hard to obtain. And I'll tell them that. And so it seems to me when I say those words that challenge, I can do it. It's not that hard. I'm like, okay, get to work then. You know, I said it to my kids. I say it to everybody. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Anything in life, if you really think about it, that's hard, is, you know, that's really worthwhile, is usually very hard to obtain. So with that being said, we're like 9 minutes ahead of time. Woo-hoo! I think everybody, we kept ourselves on schedule. And so I invite everyone we have 4 more seminars coming up. And I think Michelle posted it. So please just share that flyer to your Facebook, your Instagram, so that we can get more people in the community involved, just to learn the information of what we're doing. Anyone else have
one more
anything?
question. There
Yes,
was one
okay.
more question in the chat. How can the community financially support these programs? Is there a place or a way to donate?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. So a lot of these programs have alumni associations. And I know that Judge Glenn's for the felony court, they're probably the best example of that. Their alumni association just they raise so much money that they give scholarship to other special court. So we have the Therapeutic Justice Foundation, and they're someone that supports all of the specialty courts, like with conferences. So if you want to donate money to these organizations, that is just awesome. Because I'm telling you, all these programs work on such a tight budget. I know I do. I'm the only specialty court that's funded by the Commissioner's Court, but we still work on such a tight budget. And so these alumni, because the judges cannot be involved, the team members cannot be involved. It has to be the alumni association that does this. That's where the people in the community can donate. And I don't know, where do we find the information? It's usually we post it in our resource book of how people in the public can help these courts and donate. Because what the courts do is that we have pro-social events. I know in my court, I have 4th of July barbecues. We have this coming up October. We're gonna have a big Thanksgiving giveaway. We have Christmas social. I do things that the purpose of having a pro-social for 4th of July is that it puts everyone on a more relaxed atmosphere. The team members are there. I'll let everyone invite their kids or family members or significant others, and we're intermingling. It just bonds everyone closer together. It just works out so great. And so those things, of course, cost money. So when you donate to the Alumni Association of these programs, so wonderful, you guys. We really, really thank you guys for doing that. Any other questions?
Judge, I'd like to make just a real brief comment. You all can tell our judges are incredibly passionate, energetic, focused on wellness and making a better life. However, in addition, all of us are all citizens of Bexar County, and I want you to know you have an incredibly supportive Commissioner's Court. But if you're in your district, you may want to mention you may want to mention to your commissioner that, hey, this is happening, you're in support, you saw this. It really helps because, funding is always an issue, and we want to just constantly elevate the work that you see is being done here today by our incredible folks. Thank you.
Any last questions? We're almost to the end. Well, I want to thank everyone for zooming in. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys took something away, that you've learned something. I really, really thank you. Thank you to all the testimonials. Thank you, Judge Ron Hill. Thank you for everybody for just showing up and zooming in. And you could have been doing anything on a Saturday morning, but you're here watching this. So again, thank you. So bye-bye. Let's get everybody. Bye-bye. Great job.